that we found is in all of the shops, people not necessarily sure when they should change their filter cartridges to keep the cleanest air as possible. And the SATA filters are designed to give us as clean of air as possible down to breathing air quality. So we're painting using that same air so our paint jobs stay cleaner as well. They've introduced, as you see on the screen, what's called a SATA filter timer. And on this filter timer, it adheres to the canister of your filter. But before you go to put that on, I want to show you something. They come with these little alignment decals. And this is meant to slide up against the housing at the top of the canister. And then there's a small decal that just peels off and it sticks down at the proper spot on the filter. And what that's for is when we do put the timer itself on, we know right where to put it. And the biggest reason for the importance of where that goes is when you stick that timer on that filter, the little filter timer itself, set the filter down, has to slide up and out of that timer cage. And the cage is what adheres to it, and these little filter timers just plug in or slide in. And if we have it too close to the top, it doesn't leave room for that to slide out. So that's what that little spacer is for. And we'll also show you in a couple slides one other reason for that filter timer spacer. But what these come in, you'll see in the lower portion of your screen where there's a white strip. And at the bottom of that white strip, there's a little button. And when you press that button, it clicks and it sends an oil substance that goes into that white and it turns it red. And so we either have 6-month timers or we have 3-month timers, and those will come with the cartridges. There's also such a thing as a starter pack, and the starter pack is something that we're sending out with every filter that goes out of here now. And also, if you need starter packs for your shops that already have SATA filters, we can make those available. We've put them in the hands of each of our representatives already, plus we have more that we could send out. But every replacement cartridge that you purchase now will have these small filter timers inside. I want to look ahead at another slide. Here you can see putting the little decal on the filter, and then it shows proper alignment where to place that on the filter cartridge or canister itself. The other reason that I want to show you this, that little alignment thing, is the alignment sticker, is because on this picture you see now, shortly, somewhere around the second week in January or thereabouts, we're going to introduce what's a SATA filter cover. And these filter covers are a plastic cover that just presses over the face of the filter, and they're there to keep things clean. But they also have a bump out in the area where the filter timer is, so that they fit snugly to the filter. I want to show a couple more things. On these filter timers, there's 6-month timers for the first stage and the second stage. And then in this third stage, the one I have in my hand is actually a 3-month timer. So I don't know how closely you can see that, but you can see we pressed that earlier. And it counts down backwards, and there's notation on it that says 3-month, 2-month, and then at 0, then you know. So when you go into the booth or you look at that filter, or you go into a shop and you look at that, it's easy to see that 3 months or the 6-month has expired. All of the new filter cartridges, when they come out, you'll notice the new boxes all have this red label on them. If they have that bright red bar and a new bright red packaging, that has the filter timers inside. So for the next year or so, we're going to put the cage, the little filter cage that glues to the canister, we're going to have that on the filter. We're also then, so that'll be inside. And then in every filter cartridge. The second year, then we'll just send the timer itself. But inside the package, you'll get your filter cartridge, as well as the filter timer and cage, and the alignment decal are inside every box. So those will be coming to you. And if you have existing inventory of those filter cartridges and you might need filter timers for, just let us know which cartridges you have. We ran a limited run of these SATAjet 4000B surfers. We had a surf theme in our booth at SEMA, which I'll show you pictures of later. But it was pretty well received. We have only a couple of these guns left in-house. The U.S. distributors may very well still have them in stock, so just let your painters know. Certainly was a very well-received program. but it was a short-lived because we only brought 500 of them into the U.S. All right, the SATA 5000B. The 5000 is our latest project. It's been an outstanding one thus far. We released it at SEMA. It was released in Germany and in Europe back at Automechanica at the end of September with outstanding results. Everywhere that we've been spraying with these, we've had great results with transfer efficiency improvements that are significant, color ability, the ability to control the color in hot, dry climate as well as cool and wet. And we've been having great results at spraying everything from 68 and 70% humidity to 96 and 6% humid. So we've had all the extremes been exceptional. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this as we go through. Some of the biggest differences that I want to talk about, first we'll look at the outside of the gun, and then we'll talk about the screen that's showing. On this gun, one of the big changes is the air cap now comes off in just barely over a half a turn. Very smooth, very large threads that are very easy to clean. The sealing on the inside of that air cap is now sealing right at the front edge of the threads, not on the threads, so that the threads don't turn against that seal to make that more durable. We've also changed the coating on the gun is what we call SATA Pearl Chrome. And the SATA Pearl Chrome finish has an exceptional durability, but it looks like a matte finish, but it is chrome. And so it's done in a four-step process with a chemical treatment for adhesion, corrosion resistance, then nickel plating, and then copper, and then over the top of that with chroming. So it definitely is more durable. The fan control is now a full half turn, so it doesn't adjust quite so quickly like we did on the 4000, but we made a more durable structurally fan control, as well as the air micrometer at the rear of the gun for the first time right here has now been changed to be a round knob, but a much more durable mechanism with a much more durable collar as it goes into the gun body, and then a seal so that it can't rock on that, so for less issues or chances of that seal leaking. So outstanding on the outside, made it very, very comfortable. The gun is going to be available in digital and standard, but for right now, only available in standard. We're waiting, and we hope by the end of the first quarter to have the approval for the digital gauge. Simply, we have to get that approval from FM for the electronics. What's going to be nice about the 5000 is the digital version and the standard version have the same exact size head. The digital portion will just fit down in the lower part of the gun. And it's going to be, that way there's not a larger handle and a smaller handle. They're both the same. Weight and balance is incredible. Very soft, very quiet. So we'll take a look here also at inside the fluid nozzle on this gun. You can see on the screen the air distribution ring. And that air distribution ring has now been changed to have two separate alignment pins for a couple of reasons. Number one, to help make sure that people are putting them into the proper alignment in two pinholes. The other one, the problem we had is sometimes painters would accidentally put that distribution ring alignment peg into one of the air passage holes in the body, and why they couldn't get paint or air to come out of their spray gun. So this fixed that. It holds it in two places. The second advantage is that now if clear coat, if somebody leaves their fluid tip a bit loose and gets some clear that gets around that tip, it can't glue itself, or if it does glue itself to this distribution ring, it's got two pins inside the body, so when I turn that fluid tip loose, it can't accidentally break off one of the alignment pins and turn that distribution ring and change the way air goes through the gun. So this keeps that in full alignment at all times. Other things that we've done on this gun, you'll notice at the very top bullet point, higher tolerances in terms of application distance. It's a much more flexible gun. Gun distance now between 4 and 8.5 inches, rather than being tied very close all the time. Pressure ranges from 7, and actually instead of, it says 7 to 35. Some parts of the world they can spray this gun that high. In the U.S., the compliant gun on the RP and HVLP is from 7 up to 29 pounds. So 29 pounds is where the gun is the max pressure. But what we're seeing on these guns is very, very seldom do you need to run it at max pressure at 29 even. We've been running it more in that 26 or lower primarily. And so that's not going to be much of an issue. But legal pressures are going to be from 7 to 29. All right. Next thing, the trigger sleeve. Everything in this, there's a sleeve that goes through the trigger, the pin that holds the needle in place or holds the trigger in place. What's been nice about this, on the rear of this now, the gun, when you pull the needle out of it, that trigger pin can't pivot. It only goes in one place, so it doesn't swing, so you don't have to try and search around with the tip of the needle. The needle just goes right straight into that gun body, so that we don't have to fish for that hole. That can't adjust itself or can't rotate. So it makes it easier then for the painter to find that, and easier to put that needle back in. Like all of our spray guns, we also color code the all of the spray guns, and so the get this in. There we go. With the color coding system on the bottom of that spray gun, what also has been nice is we have, I thought I had a pack of them here, I'm searching for them, I don't see them, but we have 5 colors, so you can have green, red, black, blue on these, and all of those colors then can be popped off by the painter and put back onto the gun. So if you want your HVLP gun to be green and your RP gun to be blue, that's not an issue. So those are all changeable on any of the spray guns. The other thing that we want to mention is all of the gun, the looks of the gun and all of our artwork for that gun, they were co-developed between SATA and Porsche Design Studio. This is something that's new. The new tool that comes with the spray gun has all of the necessary wrenches on one tool. So you'll have, not only will you have the spanner wrench for taking the fluid tip out, but you'll also have this new T-tool. So it's got a small Torx wrench on the end of it for taking out the screw for the air micrometer. We've also got a T20 Torx for taking the fan control knob screw out, and also the Allen wrench for taking the air piston packing out, as well as the gun also has an Allen wrench and a smooth bore. So when you want to remove your needle packing, it goes through, you remove the needle, and then this goes in from the rear of the gun, and when it goes through that gun, it catches this Allen nut and removes that whole packing, assembly, and spring all in one tool. So rather than having 3 or 4 different tools in the bag, that's the one that comes with it. That'll also be in the new 4000s, which we are going to continue carrying 4000 B guns this next year, so you'll have either the option of the 5000 or a 4000. Plus, that same type of tool will also be included in the new Minijet 4400B. So all of them will have that same style. Just makes it easier as a painter to have all the tools at your disposal and easy to find. All right. Next thing, on the back of the gun, when we use an Atom tube, which is our digital gauge, because we changed the air micrometer on this gun, we have a different dock. The Atom digital portion is the same, but the dock has changed, and you'll notice that the dock on this is red with the adjustment horns are red, where on all the other docks they're black that fit all the other guns. So now this one's called an Atom Dock 5000. But this goes into the rear of the spray gun, and then your Atom gauge then just slides on to the back of that. So there will be a separate part number. So on the brochure, it lists that part number. On all of our ads, it lists that part number, so it should be easy to find the new Atom Dock part number. You can see them on this screen as well. So you can buy it as a dock. You can buy it as a dock 2-pack, or if you want to get multiples, or you can buy it together complete as an Atom Dock, as you'll see down here at the bottom with the gauge. This is a little bit about what the fan pattern differences are. So on the left of the screen, you'll see what a 4000 fan looked like versus a 5000 fan. The biggest difference that you need to take a look at is in the center. On the 5000, we widened that wet center. So now that's closer as you look here out to the edge of the overspray ring. They've made the droplets much, much finer even than a 4000, but by making them finer, they make them closer together so they wet up faster. And that wet center is pulled out closer to the edges to give this gun a much easier wetting ability. And what that did is it gave us 2 advantages. Number one, in hot, dry weather, it wets up better, it doesn't over dry, and it helps to control color in a hot, dry environment. Plus, it just moves faster. The droplets being closer together and finer and outspread closer to the edges, we're getting faster coverage, and your gun speed has improved even more with that. On the RP side, we made that those droplets much finer than before, so it wet even faster than an RP did before. And to control some of that wetting, we brought that down slightly in the center so that we have an even wetting like we'd had before and keeps the fluid flow rate identical. But it also controls the atomization, so it becomes a even better if you're using an RP for base coat rather than just for clear. It has improved that. So now the HVLP and the RP are both compliant, have a very similar fan shape, very similar fan size, both of them being extremely even. And we're going to spray that in a couple, show you a video where we sprayed that on paper here in just a second. Looking at a couple things, when we compare to a 3000 or we compare to a 4000 or a 5000, the original RP had a 35 psi was max pressure. On the 4000 it was at 32, and now with the 5000 it's at 29 is max pressure. The noise level was a little quieter on the 4000, and it's much quieter than that yet on the 5000. Spray fan was much larger when we went from a 3000 to a 4000. It's just slightly smaller, almost hard to measure, but by making it slightly shorter, it pulled the fan wetting ability into a more concentrated area where we have a much better wetting and much faster wetting, easier in hot, dry climates, and much easier to control color, whether it's water or solvent. Again, droplet size was smaller in a 4000 than a 3000, but it's been even finer yet when we went to this new 5000. HVLP, same exact max pressures, 29 all across the board. Again, the noise level is lower, quieter, the slightly smaller fan as we described, and the droplet size has gotten much finer than before. Again, the wetting effect is much faster with the new 5000. You'll see the nozzle range that we have. Our primary nozzles are still going to be that WSB to 1.3 and 1.4 range, but we have a full range outside of that from 1.0, 1.2 in the HVLP and as large as 2.2. Most automotive products are going to be sprayed in that WSB 1.3 or 1.4 range, up as high as 1.5. But those are pretty consistent before. What we don't have on the 5000 that we have on the 4000 is we don't have a 1.3C and we don't have an HC Plus or an LV nozzle set. So we really feel that each of these nozzles is much more versatile than they were before, and you can cover a wider range without having to have so many nozzle sizes. On the RP side, most common nozzles are still going to be 1.2 and 1.3. With waterborne environments, in many of them, the 1.2W may be an option. But as you can see, we also have nozzle range that go as small as 1.0 and as large as 2.0, so we can cover the field with most materials across the board. These are what some of the ads are going to look like. They all talk about versatility, as versatile as you are. Of course, you can see in the background all the cactuses are brown or green. In this case, it's bright blue. With Stonehenge, you can see the candy apple red, Stonehenge versus just the stone color. And you'll see ads with an igloo that's candy green rather than white, and a windmill, bright yellow rather than just a traditional white. All that was just to signify, as it talks about in the ad, as versatile as you are. So further gun distances, lower pressure ability, everything to make this gun more versatile. I want to show you a quick video, and the sound on this is a little tough. We're in a booth spraying. We're just going to shoot a waterborne base coat on a steel panel that's been prepared. So we're going to first shoot a test pattern and then go on and spray 2 coats of color. But we show the first coat going on, and then we show us blow drying it as after the second coat. So all you're going to see is 1 full coat going on and then a drop coat going on afterwards. So you'll see that, and then you'll see clear coat at the end. It's about a 2.5, 3-minute video, but I'll start it now. If you can't hear it, sorry. If you do have the option to turn your volume up on your computers so you can hear us talking, that'd be great. But otherwise, just to watch the video is important. All right, sorry the video got a little choppy there when we're running it through the website, so apologize for that. But one thing that's important to note is the gun speed on this gun has been much faster than anything we've had before. But the transfer efficiency numbers have been outrageous with it so far, all the testing that we've done. I just flew back, got home last night. I was down in LA, and we were spraying actually at one of D'Angelo's shops. And when we were in there, it's a high-volume shop that turns about $350,000 to $400,000 a month in shops or in business. And they went in the booth with the SATA Jet 5000, and when they were mixing both color and clear, when we asked them how much they would normally mix for the job, in the one booth it was 28 ounces is what they normally mix, and we got done and they were only using 21, so pretty substantial product savings. And in the second booth, it was the same thing. They mixed up 20. We had told them, asked them how much they would spray for the job, and that was another large job that he would have mixed 28 ounces, and they mixed 24 and sprayed only 21. So substantially happy, and they got on the phone right away and placed an order. So that happened yesterday. Again, we've had that result pretty dramatically across the country on that new 5000. Something I wanted to show you on the Vision hood. There's a picture here now. Difference is this: what's going to start happening over the next in January is the Vision hood is going to have a cape that's gray rather than red, which is not a big deal on the cape, except for what's nice about it is the new cape wraps around underneath the front, and it actually has a Velcro enclosure. So under the front to give the painter better protection underneath, covers everything underneath their chin and neck area. The other thing, I'll skip ahead here, we wanted the better protection, but we also changed the sweatband. So on this now, you'll see this sweatband just simply comes off. It's very simple. So you put a new sweatband on, you just grab the sweatband and it wraps around just on the inside. You just pull it together with your fingers, and it's closed, and it's on. So it's really that fast. There's no Velcro adhesion. You don't have to fasten it on the little tabs on the headband anymore. So it's very quick. Plus, we inserted this little aluminum, this little metal tab on the end that goes against your forehead as a grounding mechanism to keep static completely away from this. So even in an environment where they're spraying with electrostatic, they don't have any static charge built up on their hood. So making it very simple, just wrap it around and it's on. So again, it's a comfort feature, but those will begin being available also in January in 5-packs, 25-packs, as they've always been. So we're excited about that. Sorry, it's 5-packs and 10-packs. Here's a picture. Just want to show you a couple things from the booth while we were at SEMA this year. This is what it looked like. Again, the surfer theme. We had custom painted surfboards throughout the booth. Certainly we had, as you can see, we had a 40 Woody in the booth this year that fit the theme greatly, and that was painted by Mitch Lanzini out of Lanzini Body Works down in Huntington Beach, California. We had airbrush artists in there from Mickey Harris and Leah Gall and Josh Barassa were in the booth working. There's a little bit of a peek at our crew. Some of the television celebrities were KC from Gas Monkey, and the guys from Mott Steel were there. We had Ryan from West Coast Customs, who just opened his new facility this past weekend. We were out there for the open house. It's up in Burbank, California, and quite a facility. Certainly the camera crews were following Ryan around. So we had a pretty outstanding show. You can see this was what our booth looked like most of the time, completely filled. So if we didn't get a chance to talk to you at the show, we certainly meant to. But just glad to be able to share all this information with you guys today. So if there's any questions, I will have you guys type them in to Melissa, and she'll read them to me, and I'll answer them.
Does anybody have any questions? You just did a really thorough job, Tony.
Yeah, I must have.
No questions, anybody? Well, we did record it so people can go back and see it, and I'll also send your information. If that's okay, I'll send your information to everybody. So
yep.
If they do want to reach out to you, they can do that and ask you questions individually.
Perfect.
Right? All right. Well, I don't see anybody typing any questions in. So, all right. We appreciate your time, Tony. Thanks everybody for joining our webinar, and you know, we'll send us your future suggestions, and you know, we'll continue to send you information on what's coming in the near future. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.